Um, okay, excellent. So we are live. So welcome to another Run Wild with Us. Ask Us Anything. I'm Lisa Kastner. I'm the founder and executive editor of Running Wild and RIZE presses, and I am here with Rod, one of our phenomenal editors.
Oh,
And we are here with you on Thursdays between 5 and 6 p.m. Pacific time, 8 and 9 p.m. Eastern time. And we're here to answer any old questions you have. It could be about editing, it could be about publishing, it could be about the business of, honestly, the business of creativity, I guess, in general.
mhm.
It could be serious, whatever you want, all good. So with that, how you actually get to ask us questions is you go ahead and you pop your questions into the comments section of whatever venue that you may be watching this, whether it is Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter or YouTube. And I'll repeat the question, and then Rod and I will take an opportunity to answer said questions.
Mhm.
And with that, Rod, how are you doing? What's new and exciting?
Oh, at my age, everything's exciting. I woke up. But, just, trudging along, doing the work I need to do. I've come to realize that I'm gonna have to cut down my hours. 12 to 15 hours a day is really getting hard.
That's a
And
lot.
yeah, and, Ben could do it, but, well,
Mm,
he can do a lot of things I can't do?
mm,
But, yeah, I'm gonna try to trim it down to, like, maybe 10 or 12 hours because I found that in those last hours, I get kinda fuzzy.
mm,
If I'm looking
mhm.
at a spreadsheet, there's the numbers are moving around, you know?
Yeah.
And, and if I'm editing or writing, I read a paragraph and I go, "Wow, okay, I better read that again." I mean,
Mhm,
and normally I'm not so slow, but in
mhm.
that last hour, it gets that way. Does that ever happen to you? Because I know you work a lot.
Oh gosh, yeah. I mean, well, I actually every day I work out.
Mhm.
Um, 5 to 6 days a week I do uh more core training, and then I go for at least a 2-mile walk. And
Wow.
then once or twice a week I'll go for minimally a 3-mile walk. And sometimes I'll do more, like I'll go for like a walk jog, you know,
Mhm.
but that helps keep me centered,
Yeah,
and it helps me be able to kind of keep going through, long hours.
yeah.
But if I really find myself getting fuzzy, my challenge is more like my eyes just start, I just have a hard time seeing. So I just have to get up and walk away from my laptop for a little while, and then I'll come back and, keep
Oh,
working. But yeah, it's taking that break for me
mhm.
is really imperative. So,
Yeah, I envy you, and I am ashamed of myself. Uh, I sit at my desk in the morning soon after my morning coffee.
mm,
I get away from my desk, it's usually 10, 11, or later at night,
mhm,
and I know it ain't healthy to sit at the desk like that, you know,
mm,
and shame on me, I'm twice your age, I need to exercise, and I know it.
mm.
I have and don't visualize because 'cause it'll terrorize you. Yeah, I'm a horror writer, but I don't wanna send you off screaming off screen. What would I do here without you? Oh gosh. But I've gotten into yoga,
Oh,
uh,
yeah. Mhm,
and I find at least I don't know what my old body can do, but I find that it does make me find some peace. It's,
mm,
a calming exercise. It
mhm,
reminds me back when I was your age, I used to do tai chi among a bunch of other things,
mhm,
and, I got that effect from it. And so
mhm.
I'm kinda digging yoga. Isn't that weird for, old guy like me? But
No, that's great. That is
yeah,
awesome. Yeah.
but, yeah, I need to get out and take a walk. I need to do more like you. Like, I only see you from, like, the neck up, you know?
Mhm,
And,
mhm.
everybody in the audience would agree, "You're a nice looking gal." But, yeah, I
Oh,
bet you look
thank you.
great everywhere. I don't. I used to have this big, strong, powerful chest and the guns.
Mhm.
I still got them. 'Em, they're just tucked a little lower and down
Okay.
here down around the belt line there.
Mhm. There you go. Margaret Buchanan says, "Hey Lisa, hey Rod, hey Margaret. It is as always fabulous to see you. So glad you could join us tonight." Rod and I actually, before we started, were commenting on how we're really looking forward to great questions. And again, if whoever asks the best question will actually get an ebook of their or actually a paperback or ebook of their choice from our catalog. Hey, Peter, how you doing, man?
I'm good. Kind of soaking wet because it's raining to beat the band outside, but
no way. Well.
How's everybody else doing?
Really good. You look awesome. I feel like I haven't seen you in ages, but I think it's only been like twice, something like that.
Things are good. I just spoke with my author a few minutes ago. Get started on the next project, so I'm excited about that. And still working with my previous author, so back in the thick of things. Happy to be doing it.
Excellent. Yeah, man, making it happen. Very cool. Very cool.
Totally.
Anything exciting?
What's the topic of conversation?
Rod was commenting on the fact that he's now into yoga.
Oh.
Yeah, and I had just commented on how I do core training, and then I do like at least 2 hours or 2 miles of walking every day, or almost every day. And if not that, then I go for like a walk, jog, because it helps. All that helps keep me centered and actually mobile. Because there was a period when I didn't work out as regularly. And the older I've gotten, the more I've realized that working out every day, it really, I mean, it does. It keeps me mobile, So
totally. Keep the muscles going. I need to start working out or going for a walk or doing something because I gained about 5 or 10 pounds in New Orleans the other week. So,
no way.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. You need to talk about New Orleans. How'd that go, man?
Love that town. That town's amazing. The music there is just, you can't get away from it. And you don't want to. It's in the streets. It's in the bars. It's in the pubs. It's just fantastic. Everybody's jamming. Everybody's having a great time. A lot of fun. Great birthday weekend getaway.
Woo! Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Oh, happy birthday. Yeah.
Thanks.
And how old are we or are we not right now?
we are a speed limit. I'm not gonna say which one. We are speed limit.
Shit. Really? Nice.
So, yeah.
I was the speed limit 2 years ago.
There you go.
Yeah, the one that's in the park, that says, 25 miles per hour. Yeah, that's Lisa.
Not hardly.
Peter, this is kind of a bummer for me because I'm 59. I will be in a week. And I assume you meant to say you're 55. Well, you look really young. I mean, way young for 55. Seriously. I look 70. How do you do it, Peter?
He looks even younger in person, by the way.
Really?
We got to go on a cruise together, and I think we had a blast. So
that was fun.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. So we got 3 November birthdays here.
Yeah.
We do. Yeah.
That's awesome. 3 Scorpios in the same presentation.
Isn't that terrifying?
I think it's cool. Scorpios rock.
Rod
and they never, ever, never plug their own work.
Oh, yeah, never. Because clearly he's not doing that right now.
I'm only showing off a Christmas gift that my wifey got me. And enjoying some coffee. Totally innocent.
Yeah, of course.
My wife can't believe that. Can you believe it? My wife does not think that I'm an innocent lad. I don't get it. It should be obvious, right?
Obviously. Yeah.
But I do love coffee.
It turns out Rod and I had the exact same birth date.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
or day.
Same birthday. Yeah, about 40 years apart. Yeah, but
sure. Yep.
I got to be honest, I'm not really thrilled since I turned 50. And it's probably because of what you said, Lisa. I know better, but I really don't exercise like I should, And it's weird. I used to, I told you in the last show, I had kind of a hard youth.
Mm-hmm.
And so I used to work out 4 hours a day, every day, and it would put you in the mind of what is that thing people do nowadays, P90X, something like that. Well, my workout was like that or more. And
Mm-hmm.
I was like a rock everywhere. Things changed, and I've been on a kind of like a grade. This seems to be getting steeper.
I think you got to get back to working out, man.
Oh
Even if
man,
you
the
just
other
start
day,
small.
yeah, the other day I got out of bed and I was like, whoa, getting up out of bed. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm not happy with that. So I'm gonna get up tomorrow and try to walk a mile, and they can put it on my tombstone. I was following Lisa.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, let's not do that. That would suck. Well, I know Peter did, like, I used to do Spartan races. I mean, it's not that I wouldn't still do them. I just haven't done them in a while. And I know Peter used to do races like that too. So,
No, that's Kathy. Kathy does the races.
oh, okay.
Kathy runs for her for marathons and 5Ks. I did one 5K in my life, so I got that box checked.
Wow.
And
Nice,
I'm good. I'm good.
I want to do a marathon. So, yeah, we'll see. But I don't know if I'll actually do like a marathon where like I'm part of the race, or if I'll just do it on my own. You know what I mean? Like just knock out the miles
Yeah.
independently.
You can always do a half marathon too.
That's true. Yeah. Because I
I
think the
could do
most
a
I've done beyond that's like a 15K, but I've never done a I've never done a half marathon. So
I could do a 5K. It'd just take me 2 months. But
that's
I
all
could
right.
do it.
You'd still get it done, man. Caroline says, great to see all of you. Caroline, great to see you as well. And Rod, she is laughing at you. She's like, Rod, you just got to keep going.
Well,
You
I'm not
gotta
ready to give up.
you gotta try it all when you're getting close to 80. Just keep on making it happen, man. I agree,
Yeah.
Caroline. That's how it works, right? We just keep on making it real. So
Well, it's funny, you know how everybody got all freaked out at the year 2000 was coming? You know, I was one of those kids that thought, well, gee, I won't make it past 2000. Gee, I'm going to die really young. You know, so I thought I was a goner at that age, and now I'm well beyond it. So, yeah, I'm looking at 80 and saying, yeah, it could be, you know.
There was actually a study where they said if you make it past you're either going to live, just make it through your 50s. Like if you make it through your 50s, then you're going to make it to like 80 or 90. Like that's
Cool.
the latest studies. So yeah, the three of us, if we make it to at least to 60, then we're good. We're probably good to go for a little bit.
Well, I hope that's true because I started my writing career pretty darn late, you know.
Oh, tons
And,
of people do. So
yeah,
what?
I just think it would be so cool, and this applies to all of us and Ben, and especially Caroline and Margaret. You know, wouldn't it be so awesome that, 200 years from now, they're talking about our work the way we talk about Lovecraft and Poe, and Stephen King's a shoe-in, but I'd like to have our names in there too. That would be
Why
pretty
not?
sick. But
Uh,
I worry how many years I have to try to achieve that. Now, Lisa, you are plenty young enough. You get to be a superstar. Peter, you can
uh,
probably pull it off. You guys got to
okay.
drag me along, okay? Like, come on, old man. You know.
Well, Caroline says, Rod, I'm going toward 115, so you can't touch her, man.
Wow. Yeah.
I don't believe that one for a minute either, but that's fine.
I don't know. Technology's come a long way. She may dance around. I saw a video one time of a lady that was 105 doing the jitterbug. And for those who don't know, that's a very physical dance.
It's true. Very much so. Very much so. So, well, guys, don't forget, if you're watching, don't forget to go ahead and shoot some questions off to us. Just put those questions into the comment section, and I'll repeat the question, and Peter, Rod, and I will take turns in responding to them. So actually, Rod and I earlier this week were talking a little bit about, and Peter, you might find this interesting too. When, like, what do you do, or when you've got an author who's already gotten a ton of feedback from like friends, and when you're reviewing the work, they may not necessarily, your feedback may be either completely new to them, or it may not totally align to what their friends or friends who are aspiring writers may have provided before. Like, how do you handle that?
Who should go first? Rod, do you want to take this, or you want me to take it?
Well, I'll throw my 2 cents in. I don't have a lot. I think it requires your knowledge more than mine, so I'll just be very quick. I try very hard to be very polite, to explain as clearly as I can that beta readers, critique partners, your uncle, your mom, any groups that you like, they all have their place in the process, and they're very valuable. I particularly really like beta readers. They're looking at it sort of from a developmental point of view and give you some really wonderful things about your story that you can combine their thoughts, stack them up sort of. And it helps you know where to fine tune your work. And so they all have a very valuable part in the process. But I think when you get to your editor, in some cases, it's been a year, 2 years. You've had an awful lot of time with your friends, and they're wonderful. I love them all. But now you're with your editor. It's time to close the door. Let's not hang out with our friends. Let's trust each other and go to work. And sometimes that's easier said than done, but that's the goal that I try to do is, let's you and I bang this out together. The friends were great, but we don't need them now. It's just going to cloud the issue. So that's all I got, Peter. So, hopefully you can give her a lot better answer.
I don't know about that, but I mean, your comments are fantastic, because their friends and relatives and all that, they get them to a certain point. They got them to the point where they were accepted by a publisher. Now, my biggest thing, and I said this to my author tonight, is it's your book. So if the author wants to stick with what their friends and relatives say, that's fine. I'm not going to say it's not going to reach its full potential, but I'm going to know that it won't. Just and not to be arrogant on my part, but the fact that, I want to put as much work into this as I can, to hone it, to polish it, to craft it, to move things around so that it makes the most sense and makes the biggest statement, as it could. Now, friends and relatives and all that, they have solid opinions, but this is the final stage. This is the last lap. This is the one where you take it as good as it can be and then take it to the finish line.
Caroline says, we write, we talk, we dance, and we keep going. It helps to eat well, take good care of ourselves too. 100%. Margaret says, agree, Rod. And I honestly agree, Rod, with both you and Peter. Those are excellent thoughts. Wow. I think a lot of times it's really, really hard when you're an author, and especially if this is like your first time out, right? You haven't had a book published before, and you may have been working on this for years. I mean, like, we've got people that we've published that they've been iterating something for 10, 15 years, including feedback from friends and family and, beta readers and so on. It is hard to be objective when you're going over a work, especially when you've been working on it for that long. And like, I mentor for different organizations, and I had a mentee that she sent, and I had read like the first couple chapters of her book. She has a personal goal. She wants to be represented by one of the big 4 publishers, right? Well, which I think is fantastic, And so she sent this out to some of the bigger literary agents, and some of them came back with with a lot of feedback, right? She didn't get picked up, but everyone had a different take on where the story should be going. And I got concerned because, you know, to Peter's point, there comes like, this is your story. You need to decide what the story's about. You need to decide what's acceptable and what's not. And a lot of times, and Rod, I know you and I have talked about this before, if you're getting too much feedback, you've got too many hands in the pot, it loses being yours, right? And it gets lost in the shuffle. And so by the time maybe you get picked up by a publisher who sees a potential in the story, right? Back to Peter's point of, like, I'm here to help you make this the best it can absolutely be, right? But this may have been through so many iterations that you don't even remember what your goal was with the story. Like, what's the impetus? So, you know, when you're getting feedback from your editor and you're like, well, my friend Joe said blah blah blah, right? You know, in my opinion, a really good editor is going to say, but is that what you want? Right? It's great that that's what Joe wanted, but this isn't Joe's book. This is your book. Where do you want us to take this? Because my goal is to help you make this, again, the best that it absolutely can be. So
absolutely. And the one thing that we bring to it that friends and relatives just are unable to, I think, is objectivity. I mean, it's at arm's length. That's why I don't like to meet my authors usually before I start a project, because they're just a name on an email, they're a name on a phone call, whatever. I'm objective. I'm strictly dealing with the book. I'm not worried about what they think, how they feel, what they're going to say. I have no personal investment in this other than I want to polish it and make it as good as it can possibly be. But I think that, you know, I'm not trying to win points. I'm not trying to score marks or score points or whatever. So that objectivity really helps a lot because I separate it from the author. Downside is some people identify with their books so much that objectivity destroys what we're trying to accomplish, if that makes sense. You know, because once you're done with a book, it's done. It's away from its own entity. So that's another thing you need to bring up, is that this is not you. Any comment that I make is not a personal attack on the author. It's just a comment about the story that we can make it better.
Yep, 100%. 100%. And, you know, it's funny too, because I think a lot of times by the time going back to you can have too many people, you can have too many hands in the pot, right? And I've actually had this come up several times. I've had a few people asking me, like, should I hire an editor to help me polish my work before I send it out to publishers? And my answer is, well, if I were you, I wouldn't just accept any old editor, right? Because a lot of people, like, you need to find someone who's a good fit for your story and for your type of work. You need to interview the authors, like authors they've already worked with, get those authors' feedback, right? You need to understand who they've worked with in the past, and you need to sit down and just talk to them on a one-on-one basis to get a feel for, do you guys mesh, right? Now, mind you, even with all that doesn't mean that when you get picked up by a publisher, they're going to just sign off on it and say, oh, you paid for an editor? Yes, of course, we'll publish it exactly as it is. No, it just means that it's a different, it may be more polished, it may be in a different level or a different story than it would have been if you hadn't have done that. That's basically all it means, right?
True. Yeah, exactly. You said play that other editor got it to the point where it was accepted. Now let's bring it on home. That kind of thing.
Exactly. Caroline says, I'm confused. Are we in an era where writers don't understand what good editors do? Caroline, you'd be surprised. We've had, now I want to say, and Peter, like, totally keep me honest, I'd say 80-85% of the authors that we work with or have worked with are very collaborative, right? They understand what the purposes of having an editor, what the purposes of a good editor, and and so on. There's like maybe 15-20%, maybe if that they have been just huffing it for so long that they are convinced that, God damn it, I am right, and or like, well, I already paid for an editor, or I've been a writer for so long that I know I'm right, and I don't care what you say. Like, and Peter, I mean, we've sat in meetings with authors before we picked them up, where we've literally had authors say to us, well, I've been editing this for I've been working on this for 10 years, so you're just going to publish it as is, right? And literally, we literally had an author say that, and we were like, well, I mean, well, you're welcome to self-publish it. I think I that's usually what I say.
That's like God made vanity presses. Absolutely. What
like,
the hell? Don't submit.
Yeah.
Don't submit the work in me.
And then, in one case, the guy got offended. Like, what do you mean self-publish, right? And in another case, there actually what ended up happening was they said, "Oh no, I'll work with you," which was great. And they started, in the editing process, and there came a point where they just decided, you know what, I don't care. I want to self-publish. Now, what ticks me off about that is that that editor worked their ass off to help that author in bringing their work to another level. And to me, that's like an abuse of someone's time, And we've had that happen twice, I want to say. Twice. And each time they had some reason. And again, it's, I mean, you don't have to publish, but if you get to the point where you've gone through the editing process, you got everything done, and then all of a sudden you decide, you know what, F it, I'm going to do this myself. That's to me feels planned. It may not be, but it feels abusive to me. So
it's kind of mercenary to me, because you're using somebody's time, their education, and their experience to then take it so that you get to hoard all the profits. Like, well, you're missing out on a whole other world of perks of working with the press, small, medium, or large.
Yeah,
agreed.
Yeah, 100%. Caroline says, that's amazing to me, Lisa. I would be inclined to tell them to self-publish. Yeah, exactly. And sometimes, actually, honestly, there have been a couple times when we've had that kind of exchange where we were more so just trying to figure out if we wanted to make them an offer. And instead of responding to the, I guess you could say, leading questions, we just didn't pick them up. We just told them we didn't think it would be a good fit. So, and who knows? I still don't know, and because I don't really follow up. Like, I don't go out to see, like, did they publish? Did they self-publish? Did they get picked up someplace else? I'm like, dude, it's your life, man, right? Like, do what you think is best for you. I'm not here to judge. I'm not here, I'm just saddened that you wasted one of my editor's time, who, oftentimes really may have enjoyed. I mean, the way our authors get our editors get assigned is I send them the draft manuscript that we accepted, and I ask, is this something you want to work on? So nobody works on something that they aren't passionate about, right? So, to me, it's sad when someone turns around and then says, oh, well, screw you, I don't want to get published by you guys. I'm like, man, you just, like, this person may have spent months, if not longer, working with you to bring your story to the next level, and then you make that kind of decision. Well, they did this because they believed in you. They were passionate about you and your work, right? They believed in your work. So to me, that's more I don't know. It makes me sad when people play those games. But
It's sort of a con man fool because yeah, he's slick, he's cool, he got some free editing, and he's feeling good about himself. But I think you said in the last show or the one before, at that point, that author's shooting himself in the foot because
mm,
basically all he's doing is going back to being a self-published author. So he'll put it in Kindle, fire it up, put it on there, and it'll sit on Amazon's wall with 100 million other books, and nobody will know it's there.
mm,
He's done missed out on all that your press gives to the author after it's edited. You know,
mm-hmm.
so yeah, he's a cunning fool. That's my thought.
Yeah. Caroline says, it isn't. It's a collaboration. Yeah, I agreed. That's what it's supposed to be, and that's what we're about. Is that this is intended to be a collaboration between the author and the editor. So yeah.
I've had one author. This was in the beginning opening conversation that I was just talking about my thoughts on the manuscript. And I already had already spent 20 hours reading the manuscript, going through it and giving my ideas, writing stuff down. And as I was talking to him, he got more and more distant on me. And I'm like, what's going on with this guy? He's like, well, I don't want to make these changes. Like, look, this is a nonfiction book. It wants to follow certain structures, obey certain rules. I mean, if we want to break one, we break it for a reason. But this is the format that is generally accepted. And as an unknown author, you kind of want to stick to that at this opening phase. And he just got all offended. And it's like, oh, I'm not changing all this stuff. This manuscript is, like you said, this manuscript is perfect. It doesn't need all that much. It just needs a couple touches here and there. And I ended up walking away. I mean, I can't work with somebody like that. That's not going to be conducive to the quality of the work, quality of the book. So,
yeah, it's got to be a collaboration that's based on trust, because it can go really bad the other way. It's been over a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago. Had a group of reader friends, writer friends that hung out in a local coffee shop. And, I'm a coffee hound, so I'm there, right? So one of them asked me, say, hey, do you mind running an edit on my little novella? I'm like, sure, no problem. So, and we all kind of knew each other fairly well. So I was like, sure, I'll do that for you. So, I'm working on it, and we get through the first part of it and everything's going smooth. We get to the second part of it, and I can't remember exactly, but I was running dev and line edits on, say, chapter 10 to chapter 20. So, I put a good 30 to 40 hours, at least 30 hours into doing those edits, get them all set up for the writer so that when I send them back, the writer would clearly understand what I'm suggesting. Well, while I was doing that, the guy and our friends were completely rewriting the novella. Everything I did, all the editing work I did went right in the trash can. I was editing a different book. And I don't know if you've ever had that happen, but I'll call it disheartening, to say the least. They can't be rewriting the story while you're editing it, because boy, that's a nightmare.
let me ask you something, Rod. Would you do it again for them if they asked?
No,
Did they
I
burn
wouldn't
the
work
bridge?
for that fellow. Anyone in
Burn
that
that
group, I
bridge.
wouldn't do it. So yeah, it's a learning experience, but you never know, your very next author could do that to you. They could pop up anytime. And boy, I mean, you guys put in at least as many hours as I do. 30, 40 hours is valuable to us. We need that time. And for it to end up in the trash can because me and my buddies are having a beer, we decided to rewrite the whole thing. Oh man, that was rough.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So,
I'm whining. I'm sorry.
No, not at all. I'm just like, I don't know if there's anything else that you guys want to talk about tonight.
I'll bring one thing up very quickly. I can't kill a lot of time because I don't have much in my noggin. But I saw something this week that I thought was worth mentioning, and it really doesn't even apply to me, but I still think it might help somebody. I interact with a lot of people on BookTube, which is just YouTube but these are people that talk about books, writers,
Mhm.
readers, you know, some editors, just people that talk about books. One is Nicole's Bookish Nook. And this
Mhm.
is a young lady, God, she can't be more than 20 years old. From my perspective, she's just a kid, you know,
Mhm.
but she has wisdom well beyond that age.
Mhm.
And she brought up something. I'm going to look at a cheat sheet so I say it right. You may have heard of
Okay.
this, the bare bones writing method. Now, I'm a pantser 100%, even to the point of being a little crazy. I get
Mhm.
an idea, I sit down, soak it in my head for a minute, and then I start typing.
Mhm.
Within 10 minutes, my characters are running. My, world is just building itself. The plot is moving forward. And it may be a sloppy mess from an editor's point of view, but it's all just running. And I'm just typing as fast as I can to keep up with the story. So,
Mhm.
and I got to be honest, that's my favorite part of writing. It's so much fun.
Mhm.
And so it really doesn't apply to me, but it made a lot of sense because it reminded me of something I learned about a while back that was skeleton synopsis. And you're trying to write your synopsis, so you do kind of a bare bones version just to get it together.
Mhm.
Well, her bare bones writing method was kind of, it reminded me of a skeleton synopsis. And if either one of you outline your stories before you start writing them, you're not a pantser, you're a plotter. I've been told that plotters kind of do that. They'll create an outline step by step on the beats,
Mhm.
and then they go back and write their story and follow that outline. They just kind of follow the path they created and write it. And that's
Mhm.
kind of what it sounded like she was doing, but she was suggesting to the writer, for now, leave out a lot of fluffy details and just put the core points in. It
Mhm.
sounded very much like a synopsis, but you're
Mhm.
writing the story, write the core points in, and she called it the skeleton. And then she said, now you can go back and add the meat.
Mhm.
And I don't know, it just kind of caught my attention that, for especially for a plotter, it seems like that would be a very simple, easy way to get a lot of result, which I'm all
Mhm.
about that. I love to have a direct and easy way to get a lot of result. So both of you know a lot more than I do. What do you think of this concept that she brought up?
I don't know, Peter. What do you think?
I'm the thing that comes to my mind is that everybody's writing style is different. What works for me probably won't work for you, won't work for another writer. But I mean, I'm finding it a little difficult for my brain to separate myself from that plot outline that you said that you suggested in the skeleton story,
Mm.
because once you get going with a story, and I mean, you just the tangents is the biggest enemy of a story at any point because you just go off on them. But
Mhm.
to limit yourself to that much of just a skeletal structure, like a tree without leaves, a Christmas tree without leaves, it's just like that is something I'm not sure I could really pull off. I mean, it's a
Mm.
great way to approach. It's a fantastic approach. It's much more interesting, much more involving than a straight plot outline. But at the same time, I mean, you're missing the richness that comes from the first time you're putting the words down. I mean, like you said, you
Mhm.
love just knocking out, banging out words, banging out chapters, banging out books. There's a certain part of you that just it flows into the story that you just go crazy. I mean, yeah, some of it's a mess, but at the same time, some of it's golden, and you just need to
Mhm.
polish it up and clear it up a little bit to make it shine.
Mhm.
So yeah, it goes with everybody's got a different style, everybody's got a different approach, but I mean, one or the other. I would say pick one: the skeletal approach or the plot outline, because you got to hold back on some. If you're going to hold back on something, hold back 100%. If you're going to go all in and write the story. If that makes sense, that's how I would
Yeah.
approach it.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Peter in that I think everybody's got their own style, and I think it changes, right? Like the more that you write, the more the more different methods really kind of resonate. Like I started off as being a pure pantser. So when I wrote something, it might have started off as like, purely literary, and by the end of the damn thing, it was a mystery. And it's like, and it didn't make any damn sense anywhere in between, right? Because I just, would go off.
Mhm.
But I think honestly, go and do actually, Rod, exactly what you're describing, right? research other people's methods, find out what works for you, right? Because what works for her may not work for me, or for Rod, you, or for Peter, or for Caroline, and like now I'm actually somewhere between a plotter and a pantser, because to Peter's point, I'll plot out core. I mean, it's just core bullet points, right? Like this is the key. These are the keys that I want to hit as I'm going along, right? And so that I know what the end of the story is going to be. I know what the themes are. I know where I want this to go, right? But as I'm writing, your characters, they'll tell you, like, nah, that's not what's going to happen, right? So what you thought made sense when you're first just high level bulleting out, right? I mean, like, and I have friends, their way of plotting, it's literally like one sentence per chapter. So they kind of like almost like summer, and all it's doing is creating that road, to get them to the end game. That's all, that's all they want. And the reason is exactly what we've all described, right? As you're writing it, you realize, oh shit, that doesn't make any sense. That won't work. This character wouldn't do that. And the character's telling you it. And then you go back and you revise your plot line, right? You revise those bullets more so based on what you've already drafted. And then you keep going, right? And some people stick to it. I mean, like, religiously, every single point that they pre-wrote in their plot, it doesn't, if 1 minute Joe has a cat and now Joe has a dog, oh well, that's how this plot is plotted out. It's like, okay, but it's totally, it just depends on what works for you,
I wish Stephen King was on the show because he's well known to be a pantser. I think of myself as sort of an extreme lunatic pantser, and I wonder if he is too. Because, like, to what you were saying, I'm a pantser, so I write, Jared pushed his horse at his fastest gallop. It's pouring sweat. The horse is huffing. Tree branches are scraping against his skin. He's riding hard. There's a fork in the road. He can go left to the king's castle, right to the big field. Which way is he going to go? I don't have a freaking clue. Oh, he's going to go right. Okay. He took off to the right. Now listen, I mean, literally, I'm following my characters when I write. And I wonder if that's lunacy or if it's just being a pantser.
Well, actually, so a friend of mine got to sit with Stephen King at an author's, at a writer's conference. And I don't know if you realize this or not, but quite a few of Stephen King's books are actually all in the same world. So even though he's more of a pantser, the reality is he already knows, like, how this world would exist, like how things work. So, and I think, if I remember correctly, I believe he'll start writing it, like the story, and then he'll write the like the last sentence or the last paragraph, and then write everything in between. So even though he's a pantser, he knows what the end game is, if that makes sense.
Well, we just got a fantastic example of what Peter said right from the start. It's different for everyone. Every one of us has got our own way. Little old me, Stephen King, and everything in between. Peter, I tell you, Ben better be looking over his shoulder because here you come.
No, Peter and Ben, they're like brothers.
Oh,
like,
I'm just
my
playing.
total respect.
Totally, yeah.
But
They
no,
are
really,
totally.
that was a very, very valid point, is what I meant to say.
The main point of what you're saying is that stick to it. I mean, it's a grind. It really is. I mean, and the more you know, the more you learn, the slower you're going to go, because you're taking more things into consideration. And that's just part for the course. But you got to stick to it. You got to sit down and write, if not every day, which, is ideal, every other day. Give yourself an hour. Give yourself 20 minutes. Sometimes it's just you and the page, or you and the screen, where you're just in your world, in your story, typing and making it and getting to the end. And that the concept of writing the last chapter, aiming towards that's fantastic. I've heard of last line, the last chapter, but not the last paragraph. So I thought that was pretty clever.
Yeah, the first time I heard that, I was like, wow, okay, that's really smart. I mean, it may change, it's gonna alter, right? Because it's your first draft, but I think that's pretty slick. Caroline says, you know what, whatever works, as long as you start and flesh the whole thing you're writing out. I totally agree. She also says, read, understand what makes a great story. Exactly. The more you read, the more you learn, the more you know. And plot out a time and stay on it every day. Yeah, I think Caroline's basically, she's just agreeing with you, Peter. Figure out when's the best time to just sit down and make things happen and make them happen. So.
And you don't always have to write. I mean, sometimes you're just exhausted. You just sit down, edit a couple pages, go through your story, and just see what comes to mind, see what thoughts pop up, see what your characters say that are already in place in your story. But you always got to dedicate yourself to it because it's it's your story. It's what you do.
That's right. That's right. Wow, we have less than 14 minutes left, guys. This is insane. How cool is that? Well. Don't forget, if you got any questions, go ahead and just toss them into the comments section. And if you're watching this and it is not Thursday between 5 and 6 p.m. Pacific time, 8 and 9 p.m. Eastern time, then it's not a big deal. Just go ahead and put your questions into the comment section because we'll just respond to them next time. Oh, one thing to be aware of, we will not be here next week because it will be Thanksgiving. And I think all of us will be out celebrating with our friends or family or, somewhere in between or both or whatever our typical traditions are. So, but we will see you the subsequent week. So just keep that in mind, guys. And you know what, with that thought, what are you guys up to for Thanksgiving? Anything fun?
Kathy and I are going to go to actually, we're going to go to a country club in a adjoining town and check it out and see what it's like, just to have that sort of experience, And I'll tell you about it after we do it because I'm looking forward to it, getting all dressed up and actually, being polite, I suppose, being respectful, respected kind of thing. So I'm looking forward to it.
Very nice.
How
about you, Rod?
I'm going to my sister's house for a birthday / Thanksgiving because my birthday's on the 21st. And I was smart this year. I gave her a nice list from my Goodreads TBR, a good little list of books I'd really like to have that, I want the hard copies on my bookshelf, because like I dig ebooks for checking out a book, but when I read one that I freaking love, I want a nice copy on my shelf. So I gave her a nice little list. Hopefully she'll pick out something really cool. And then she makes a really nice Thanksgiving dinner. And I'm 3 hours ahead of you on the time thing. So next week, while you're enjoying your festivities, me and my big round belly will be sound asleep.
Well, actually, Peter's in Florida. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it the same time zone as Kentucky, Eastern time?
Yeah, I'm an East Coaster. Yep, that's Eastern time.
Oh, I didn't know. Cool.
Yep. Yep. And I'm like you, Peter. I'm actually going to the Beverly Hilton's Cirque 55 because they do this big buffet, and which is just completely extravagant. And if they know it's your birthday, because my birthday is also on the 21st, then they are very generous on the champagne pour. So I'm gonna stay as long as I can and just really enjoy not having to cook, but making sure I get at least a slice of turkey. So, yeah.
So on Black Friday, I'll be searching YouTube for that video of Lisa dancing on a table with a champagne glass.
Yeah, you'll be searching a long time. Let's just put it that way. Caroline says, hope you're all going to have a great Thanksgiving. Happy birthday, Rod. Lisa, yours is coming up. Yep, absolutely. Mine is literally the exact same day as Rod's. So, and I have the blessing of having a lot of amazing friends who are taking me out, or we're going out for massages, or we're just gonna go and act silly wherever. So it's a real blessing to have people like that in your life who go out of their way to make sure that you're doing something fun. So,
have you heard of a town called New Orleans? It's a good birthday town.
you know what? So here's the deal, man. This is telling me that I'm thinking next year we may have to do New Orleans together, since we're both November babies. So
there you go.
Yeah, we can totally do like a birthday thing. Do they still treat it like what's the big New Orleans? Mardi Gras. Yeah, do they still act like it's all Mardi Gras?
Oh yeah.
Oh.
It gets crazy down there. I have not gone because it gets crazy, but I've been there within the time zone. It's just more and more people show up. The parades are fantastic. It's just something you got to see at least once in your life.
Okay. So. When is Mardi Gras, by the way?
I don't know. Let's see.
Yeah, I don't remember. Now I need to look it up.
It's in March, but I'm not sure.
Oh, February 13th.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, and we're also talking about, so for our storytellers happy hours, sometime in February, I think we're going to actually do it either in Los Angeles, from a bar in Los Angeles, and Teehee and I have decided we're going to recruit Cody. He doesn't know this yet. I haven't informed him, but also we're going to do one in Mexico, which is where Teehee lives, because you can actually rent a cruise ship, basically, like get your own ship to go and for the day and just hang out and act silly and all that kind of stuff. So it's like $600 or something like that.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
No.
Booze is included?
Huh?
Is booze included?
I don't know. He said he's going to go do more homework on it. So I said, well, as long as we've got some kind of Wi-Fi going on, I'm thinking we're going to have to do some live streams from it. So
absolutely. Yep.
Absolutely. Yeah. So you guys may get an invite. Once I find out what the heck this actually is. I know it's not a cruise ship, but it's what is it? Your own
charter?
Yeah, it's a charter. Yeah, it's a charter ship or a charter. I don't know, whatever.
It's a boat.
It's a boat. Yeah, it's a boat with like sleeping quarters, I guess. But anyway, yeah, that would be yeah. You didn't know you're chartering a ship.
Wow.
Anyway,
for $600.
Yeah, for $600.
Wow.
Now we're not getting it like that in California, but
yeah, because I'm thinking a small sailboat, would be $600. A jet ski's, close to that.
Pretty much. Caroline says,
I don't know now. Go ahead. Huh? I'm sorry.
I was just going to read. Caroline just says, I'll raise my martini to you and Rod on Thanksgiving. Awesome. Going out to dinner in February. And she's telling us we need to come to Cape Cod, Martha's Vineyard. I haven't been to Cape Cod in so long. I would love to join you, Caroline. Absolutely. We absolutely need to do a field trip to Cape Cod and Martha's Vineyard. So Rod, what were you going to say? I'm sorry.
I don't know. It drifted away. Couldn't have been too important, right? That's what my mom used to tell me. If you don't remember what you were about to say, it wasn't important.
Yep.
And by now half of what I say is gibberish anyway. But I try to. I don't want to just sit here and be a bobblehead. That'd be cool for 10 seconds.
Yeah. Whatever works, man. Whatever works. Well,
hey, can I pitch a book?
Yeah, it's really funny now.
Can I pitch a book?
Of course you can.
This is a fantastic book. Alone. Let's see, where's the camera right there? Alone with all that could happen. David Jauss. I highly recommend this book as a book on writing fiction. Okay. So David Jauss, Jauss. You guys are fantastic teachers, friend of mine. So just want to plug the book. It came out earlier this year or late last year or something like that. It's a new revised edition, so I highly recommend it.
Ah, cool. All right. Now I need to pick it up.
How dare you promote a book? I would never do that.
Peter, if you've got a link to it, like on bookshop.org or something, if you could put it in the chat, that would be great.
Oh, totally. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And Rod, same thing. If you've got a link to your book, just go ahead and put it in the chat so that if anyone's watching and they're curious, then they can go ahead and pick it up.
Oh, cool.
Okay. Awesome. All right. Well, I think we only have 4 minutes left. Do you guys have any thoughts that you want to leave folks with?
Yes, I'd ask anyone watching this or anyone who sees it within the next week. I did a little YouTube ad that I was going to be here tonight. And I referred to the third time's a charm, very famous saying, and death comes in threes. So was I going to rise to new heights or crash and burn? So leave it in the comments. Which one did I do tonight? I don't know. But yeah, because, third time, I only have so much knowledge. I'm not like you guys. I mean, you're a walking encyclopedia. I envy you so much.
Oh, don't.
All of that knowledge.
Nah, don't. How about you, Peter? You got any remaining thoughts that you want to share?
Parting thoughts? Enjoy the holidays. Just, cherish being with the people you love.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, because guys, it's so easy to just get sidetracked and decide that you're going to go off and you're just going to write or you're going to edit or you're going to just, knuckle down on whatever it is that you got going on. But don't forget, especially in the holidays, you've only got so much time with the people that you love. Really spend it with them, really enjoy your time with them because there's a reason you guys love each other. Don't miss these opportunities. So
you spend all that time alone writing anyway, so now's your chance to actually mingle with people.
Right? Exactly. Margaret says, happy Thanksgiving, y'all. Happy Thanksgiving, Margaret. Sorry, go ahead, Rod.
Oh, I was just going to say to all the turkeys out there, I always have a Thanksgiving chicken. So don't worry, guys. I really do. I like Thanksgiving chicken. I'm not a real big fan of turkey. Do you guys love turkey?
I love stuffing.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Yeah. But I like cheesecake more than pumpkin pie.
Okay, cool.
Of course I like turkey. Perfect for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, exactly.
You have dinner early in the afternoon, then after the second football game, you make a sandwich, and then like you were saying before, you just crash.
Yeah.
Fall asleep on the couch.
There you go.
Tryptophan, something like that.
Oh, yeah. There you go. That's awesome. Cool. All right. Well, with that, happy holidays. Caroline says, thoughts of the holiday and wishing you, Peter, Rod, Lisa, great, good holiday. Big hugs. Huge hugs, Caroline, to you, Margaret, everybody else who's joined us. Thank you again for watching. As always, we absolutely adore you guys. And we'll see you in 2 weeks.